しいね。
From a lowly gatekeeper proving them wrong by becoming the strongest, to a hopeless otaku becoming the leader of a powerful guild. These are the anime where the betrayed characters returned overpowered. Number 10, Berserk of Gluttony.
もっとだ。
Fate Graphite works for a noble family as their gatekeeper, but because he wasn't born with any cool powers, he's bullied, lied to, and humiliated by just about everyone he knows. All of that starts to change when Fate kills a bandit one day. Right after killing the bandit, Fate's gluttony skill absorbs the bandit's telepathy and appraisal skills. On seeing this, Fate realizes that his power isn't useless after all, and that if he absorbs more skills, he'll undoubtedly even surpass the holy knights and nobles, and that's exactly what he starts doing. Fate intellectually plans his raids and consumes as many skills as he can, but at the same time, he keeps a low profile so his forbidden gluttony skill's true power doesn't come to light. Berserk of Gluttony is the perfect betrayal anime for you if you like a main character who uses his head just as much as he does his fists. Number 9, I'm quitting heroing. Next gig is at the Demon Queen's castle. Leo Daemonheart saves the world from the demon army, and his prize? Being exiled by the king because of false rumors that said Leo wanted to become the next Demon King. Having been betrayed by his own kind, Leo goes straight to the Demon Queen Echidna and her generals for a job. Echidna declines, but her generals who greatly admire Leo for his powers hire him. But the condition is he will have to work in secret. Since he can't get caught, Leo decides to don a new persona as the Black Knight Onyx, who parades across the Demon Kingdom fixing problems. I'm Quitting Heroing is a bit different from the other anime in this list, since its MC's already too overpowered to begin with, but he is portrayed by his entire race and technically does return with a new identity and gets even more overpowered each passing episode. It's also quite a lighthearted anime than the betrayal theme usually implies, instead of becoming more of a comedy at times, but one that's definitely still worth watching. Number 8, The Kingdoms of Ruin. After living for centuries in harmony with the witches, the human race is finally able to develop weapons that outclass magic. As soon as this shift in power takes place, the Redia Empire orders the death of all witches, so that the humans are the only race that's left alive. It's right after this declaration of genocide that the witch Chloe and her pupil Adonis are brought in front of the Emperor. Shortly after, Chloe is executed while Adonis is taken prisoner by the Empire. 10 years later, a group of witches are able to free Adonis, but he doesn't seem like the man he once was. Adonis is driven by rage, and after breaking free, Adonis starts brutally murdering all human guards in his vicinity. Every moment of his imprisonment, he only thinks of ways of ending the human race for its crimes against the witches. But while he plans on exacting his revenge, he's told by the witch Dorica that there is a way of bringing Chloe back, but she needs his help. The Kingdoms of Ruin is pretty much exactly what you'd expect a betrayal anime to be like. It's got the revenge-driven MC who's overpowered and plenty of twists and betrayals that'll surprise you. It's definitely not the best in terms of pacing, but it'll appeal to you if you're looking to look past a few of its shortcomings. Number 7, Adventurers who don't believe in humanity will save the world.
Nagava, the truth. Why'd you help spread a plague?
Fired from his party and dumped by his girlfriend on the same day, Nick decides to become an otaku, with his sole purpose being to worship the idol Igets. But buying all the idol merch costs a lot, so as much as he hates it, becoming an adventurer is his only option to get by. However, things change when Nick sits with 3 strangers at an inn. As fate would have it, all 4 of them share a common thing about their past. They've all been betrayed by someone. Tiana is a mage whose fiancé left her out of jealousy and she became a gambler, while the drunk sitting at the table is Zim, an ex-priest who was falsely accused of abuse, and that downward spiral led him down the path of becoming a womanizer. Last but not least, the half-dragon girl is Kurun. Her party left her to die in a dungeon after stealing all her goods. With life looking dull, everyone agrees to Nick's idea of forming a party, and with that, the team survivors sets the goal of ridding the world of corruption after becoming overpowered themselves. They also vow to get back at all those people who betrayed them, but that's easier said than done, since there's one small problem. Their party is flat broke, so first they need to earn a few pretty pennies. Thus begins their legendary comic adventure into hundreds of dungeons and towns across the world as they strive to become overpowered individuals.
I've got you now.
Stop stealing my lines.
What? This is the end for you.
Number 6, chillin' in my 30s after getting fired from the Demon King's army. Despite having no magical powers, Dariel has been running the entire demon army. But when his stepbrother becomes the new Demon King, Dariel is fired and left penniless. Wandering the outskirts, Dariel sees a human girl being chased by a monster and hurries to her rescue. To show her appreciation, Marika drags Dariel to her village, where he is quickly offered the role of becoming the village's protector. While he is quite honored, Dariel is puzzled to see how easily he's able to fit in with the humans. Well, that's until a little later when the realization hits him that he's not a demon, but a human. That explains why Dariel couldn't use any demon magic. However, humans have their own magic called aura, and Dariel quickly becomes a master in it. With that, Dariel decides to stay in the village, learning more about aura, while at the same time, his stepbrother's kingdom is falling to pieces without him. Soon, an uprising begins in the lands, and with Dariel becoming so strong now, he will inevitably find himself in a confrontation with his stepbrother. But this time, the difference is that he'll return overpowered. Number 5, Yona of the Dawn. Yona is the princess of the kingdom of Koka, and she's fallen in love with her cousin, Suwon. Yona soon confesses her love to him, but Suwon declines, and about 5 days later, Yona witnesses Suwon murdering her father, the king. In an attempt to keep his act of treason silent, Suwon orders the death of Yona, but Yona's bodyguard Hack arrives just in time and both of them flee. With no one to turn to and nowhere else to go, Yona and Hack survive in the wilderness. It's a painful time for Yona, but reclaiming her kingdom is the only thing on her mind. That seems like an almost impossible goal. However, when Destiny comes knocking with a fable of 4 legendary dragons strong enough to make her conquest easier, Yona and Hack set out to see whether there is something more to that fable, or is it just that? Number 4, Cyberpunk Edge Runners. The streets of Night City are a cruel place, and they finally caught up to David. David is mourning the death of his mother, but when he discovers a new piece of tech and runs into a mysterious netrunner called Lucy, things start looking up for him. Lucy takes David on a series of heists throughout Night City, and later they head back to her apartment where they share a brain dance. To David, this was the best thing that had happened in weeks, but it turns out that this was all an elaborate ruse by Lucy just so she could take back the tech David had. That does hit you in the feels, but the betrayal subplot actually takes a passenger seat after this episode. Lucy and David eventually get together later in the anime, and David goes on to become an overpowered Night City legend as he gains new skills. Cyberpunk Edge Runners is gritty for the most part, but it also has a lot more betrayal spread out between its 12-episode long season. Of all the anime present in this list, Cyberpunk Edge Runners is the one that does the most in the least amount of time. It'll make you feel angry, euphoric, surprised, and it checks all the boxes for what an unforgettable anime needs. Number 3, Dead Man Wonderland. One of the all-time classics in the betrayal anime genre remained Dead Man Wonderland, the story of how a seemingly ordinary high schooler Gante Igarashi was framed for the murder of his classmates and then put in the world's worst prison. Ganta finds out that his own lawyer betrayed him by forging evidence. Ganta can't think of a single reason why all of a sudden his life has been turned upside down and who is the mastermind that orchestrated this. Things are a mystery, but what's very clear to Ganta is that he must become the strongest in this madhouse prison if he wants to survive. Dead Man Wonderland is a bit of a murder mystery story with plenty of hard-hitting moments in between. While it has been a long time since it first aired, the themes of betrayal in Dead Man Wonderland are represented like no other, so not checking out would be considered a crime punishable under Dead Man laws. Number 2. Kamikatsu, working for a god in a godless world.
There aren't enough people in our village to help out with the harvest, so thank you.
Okay, I know how this works.
Yukito Urabe is the son of a deranged religious cult leader, and they drown him since they hope he'll reincarnate as their next leader. Luckily, Yukito is reincarnated in a brand new world that has no religion, but while all appears to be nice here at first, he learns that without religion, the government orders citizens to if they aren't of any use. Those who don't commit that are labeled as deviants and are to be captured. With this harsh reality in mind, Yukito prays to the old god Mitama from his previous life, and she appears in the form of a young girl. Together, Mitama and Yukito plan to save the world from the government, even if it means they need to take a few lives and declare themselves as the rulers of this new world.
Now, so let's begin! I'll prove what my newly regained powers are capable of!
Number 1. Beast Tamer.
Arios. August. Lean. Mina? Are you serious?
Rain works as a beast tamer for the adventurer Arios and his party. He can form pacts with beasts for their powers, but Rain's not too good when it comes to that, so that's why Arios thinks it's better to just fire him instead. Dejected by his team, Rain thinks of becoming a solo adventurer, and during his exams, he finds a member of the cat tribe in danger from a giant saber-toothed tiger. Rain rushes to protect her, but ends up getting saved by the mysterious woman instead. However, on seeing Rain's willingness to help her, Kanade forms a pact with Rain. Using his beast taming skill, Rain tames Kanade, pun intended, and is able to inherit her superhuman strength. Both Kanade and Rain form a party and proceed to take on other, crazier missions. Rain keeps on forming more pacts with overpowered girls and becomes even more overpowered himself in the process. Meanwhile, his old party and Arios are frustrated with jealousy and think of humiliating Rain somehow. Beast Tamer is the story of how Rain goes from being an adventurer nobody wanted in his party to one of the strongest warriors in the world. Rain doesn't become too overpowered too quickly, but if you stick through the entire anime, the finale and the reactions of everyone who considered him weak will be worth the wait.
Why can't I move?
This little lady's bright plumage sends a signal to predators to let them know she's poisonous.